Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from Hy-Vee, it's Andrea Miller, our legendary dietitian. And I'm just trying to raise her, I don't even know what the word is here, but self-esteem, that's the word I'm looking for.
Thank you.
As we talk about failing resolution. No, I mean, we're talking about, exactly. Habits, resolutions, New Year's. Oh my goodness. It's a tough time when you want to start a diet. And what are we on week 2 here? And I've already blown mine. So all this pressure every year, this must be like some chapter in dietitian college.
Yeah, we get pretty busy after starting on January 2nd. But unfortunately, it's becoming a good time of year for people to feel bad about themselves, which is not a good thing, right? That's not a good thing to be. So I want to talk about a little bit today, sometimes how we set ourselves up for change can make a big difference in terms of how we carry through with it and how we feel about it. So hopefully this will speak to a few of the viewers out there.
Well, I'm going to take everything to heart today. So here we go. Setting, I think just the first and foremost one, that you set the bar so high. You're looking at this plethora of workouts and eating healthy, and where do you even start?
Yeah, and that's usually, unfortunately, a sticky spot for people. And so we oftentimes set these lofty, what are almost outcomes. So we have this grand idea as an outcome, and that we set that as our goal. Well, a lot of times the problem with that is there's a lot of little steps that need to happen to make that outcome come to fruition. And so I really encourage people to kind of step back and take, look at the big picture, visualize what they would like that outcome to be, and then take a step back and break it down versus just tackling, common ones are, I want to exercise, or I need to lose weight. Those are huge, positive outcomes, of course, but there's a lot that needs to happen up and, to get there. And I think one of the most important things is what it takes to get there can be different for everybody. And so sometimes we try to do what somebody else is doing and get frustrated because it's not working, because it's not for us.
Yeah, I am that person through and through. You set these sights on these big ideas, and there's all the things to bring it all together can be tough. I like the point here of think of your health and wellness as buckets. What are you talking about there?
Yeah, so I encourage people to kind of think of, we have a lot of facets that make up our health and wellness, right? So it could be food, exercise, sleep, management, our alcohol use could even fit under there. So think of the different kind of sections of wellness first, and then take a look at, and I usually have people think about which one is bugging you the most, like which one have you been really saying, you know what, I really need to get a handle on, fill in the blank. Then I would say tackle that bucket first, not say that you're never going to get to the other ones, but make it more manageable and start with that one area and then start to break it down.
Yeah, I think that's a great way, just taking little bites at a time, if you will, to make that happen. Thinking a different way too, of thinking more on the outcome side instead of all this pressure at the beginning. What do you have suggested or suggestions for that?
Yeah, so one of my big suggestions is if you have a sense of that big, wellness bucket that you want to work on, think about or kind of visualize where you're at right now with that. What's your starting point? And then try to visualize what you would like your outcome to be. So whether it's what you want that to look like, feel like, sound like, smell like, whatever it is, what do you have that vision? And then say to yourself, okay, what is it going to take for me to get there? So, and that's where I mean by kind of breaking it down. So what is it going to take And a lot of times there's more than one answer or more than one step. And so that's where I'm talking about kind of breaking it down and then taking one thing at a time, just so it's not so daunting.
Yeah, and that just sounds better to my ears. That looking at it as little tiny pieces definitely
Mhm.
can make it more achievable. Another one that strikes me, and this one is, I hear Andrew always saying he's gonna, he's starting to work out again, and they've been eating healthy, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm on the other side, like, well, that's a problem because I want to do that, but
Right.
I can't do it.
Right.
What
Right.
what do you have for advice there?
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of another common pathway is we tend to create problems for ourselves that aren't problems simply because we hear what other people are doing. And we're like, wait a minute, maybe I eat too much of that, or maybe I don't do enough of that. Try to avoid that if you can and kind of refocus yourself that, okay, this is my situation. What does my situation look like right now? What am I trying to focus on, and break it down from there, and try not to feel like you have to be doing everything that somebody else is doing. Because one, it might not fit for you. It might not fit in your lifestyle. It might not even be an issue for you. So I try to remind people to try not to make problems that aren't there.
Yeah, and I'm going to tie this into it too, Andrea. How about working with your spouse? Because that's also something
Yeah.
too. The spouse has a different diet. They're
Mm-hmm.
just different. And maybe because I learned from that scan we did earlier this year,
Mm-hmm.
or earlier in 2020, that is, our bodies work differently for another. So if you're trying to do this with a spouse, what would you have for advice there?
Yeah, that's a great thing to bring up. So a big thing to remember is that we are all different. And so if we can kind of refocus our change or our thinking to not necessarily that I can't have something that my spouse can have, or my spouse can eat more than I can, but more so, what do I need? So perhaps you work as a family on, we're going to plan more meals. We're going to plan meals better. We're going to create a menu plan each week. You have that kind of general plan that you're working on together, but individually, you guys are focusing on, I'm going to pay attention and eat what my body needs. How much does my body need? Not necessarily match up to somebody else. And so I think sometimes when we focus more on what we need versus what we don't need, it helps take away some of that. I don't want to say competitiveness, but it's kind of that comparison, that, well, that person can have what I can't have. It's really not about that, more so than what we need or don't need as an individual.
Yeah, a good example. My wife and I have tried dieting many different ways
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And I always, no matter what diet it is, I always drop the most in the
Yep.
first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what it's been. And it's
Mm-hmm.
always, it makes her feel like, man, what am I doing wrong? And I'm like,
Right.
well, we both have, they're just
Mm-hmm.
different structures.
Yep.
And I always remind them, like, well, I got twice as much to lose. So don't worry, you'll, you'll pass me
Yeah.
along the way. But I think that's so important. Would you
Mm-hmm.
say, from working with people, is there do you see like a 1 month out, 2 month out, a time where they like finally get over that hump, like where they need that reinsurance that, you're going to get there? Do you ever see like that where somebody just kind of makes it over the hump, if you will, and and all of the planning and stuff that they're doing?
You know, um, what I've found that ends up getting people to that point is actually when they stop focusing on their progress in numbers. So when they kind of, or kind of understand that, yes, I'm moving towards a positive outcome of weight loss, but that's not their main focus of what's telling them that they're doing something right or wrong. And they create a non-number measurement, such as, how I'm feeling, if I'm feeling better, do I feel less stressed about food? Do I feel like I'm trusting my body more? Do I feel more in control of my decisions? Those kinds of things. Do I have more energy? Am I more alert? Can I concentrate more? When we start setting those kinds of measurements, that's usually when I see people kind of have that relief that, okay, this is working. This is worth it. I can keep doing this. So sometimes it's taking that number out of the equation and focusing more on other ways of progress.
Andrea, I think that's all great tips today. Appreciate getting us on the right track as we look into the new year. You know, put the resolution aside, put in that you want to eat healthy, and that may take you all year long, and that's okay if you can start building those habits together and ask lots of questions to dietitians like
Right.
yourself. And we'll bring you a whole bunch of those all year long here on Talking Fitchburg. So we're so excited for that. Andrea, thank you so very much. If people have any questions regarding any of this and like to discuss that with you, how can they do that?
Yes, we are including the link to my homepage on the Hy-Vee website. And we have our new virtual services now where I can meet with people one-on-one via video calls. And there's an option for free discovery sessions. If you don't know where to start, I can help you with that. I also have a Healthy Habits webinar coming up later this month. And that will be on that website as well to sign up and register.
Well, I'm going to still be there heckling you the whole way through. And I was kidding. Sounds good. We'll get that information out. Andrea, thank you so very much for your help on this. And I'm feeling just a tad bit better here that I can achieve some of those ideas and move forward with them.
Good. That's a good start.
Because it's all about me, remember. That's right. All this has ever been about. All right, Andrew, thank you. We'll catch up with you next month. All right, Andrea Miller, always love having her stop by and giving us great tips. She just made it easy for you. So if you're starting to plan, take this video and keep replaying, because that's what I'm going to have to do to get all of those great tips down. And again, you can hit up the website for more information. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.